come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. It's not so long yet, we're just starting. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who have been rocking with me for forever, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And those of you who are new, I hope you like what you hear and what you see. Thank you so much for stopping in. My name is Sakima, and I post whatever you call it. I post it, I put it up there, send it out. Content every Tuesday. So please look for that and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any content. Let's see, what do I post about? I don't want to say post. I don't like it. I create content about things and lessons that God has shown me along my journey, along my walk with Him, things that have helped me chip away at some of the barriers that I've faced, and hopefully by sharing them with you, it can help you do the same. Yeah. So what are we talking about today? So I was in my study time, like I normally study in the morning. I was in my study time and I was thinking, this is a great example of how you can study your Bible. Guys, listen, I know that everyone has their own tips and tricks of how to do it, and you are more than welcome to look at those. I think having lots of tools and lots of resources to help you study is great. So, I would encourage you to look at many ways to study and many tools to have to do this. But this is just mine, or I guess I'll say one of the ways that I do it, or a few of the ways that I study. So I wanted to share this with you guys just in case you are trying to get the hang of this or you're new at this. I still feel new at this. I still feel like a kid full of wonder when I'm reading the Bible because there's so many things that you can find in here. And obviously, this was written during a time where we didn't exist. So that alone makes it interesting because it's historical. And then also the fact that much of this applies to our life now makes it even more interesting. And then the fact that you can read it once and get one thing out of it and then come back and read it again and be like, oh, and find some things that you maybe didn't see before, didn't notice before. Just like if you watch a movie the first time, you may get certain things from it, and then you watch it the second time or third time and you get some more things or see some different things that you didn't see the first time. That's how it is all the time when I'm reading. Lately, I've been stuck on 1 Samuel 10. And just to give you a little background before we jump in, this particular area is talking about when Samuel anointed Saul to be king over Israel. So King Saul, and I know some of you may have heard of Saul before. Now there's two different Sauls in the Bible. So there's the one that was on the road to Damascus and had that Damascus road experience, and then there's King Saul, and that's a different one. Okay, so I learned that recently, so I just wanted to make sure in case you heard that. I'm like, wait a minute, is that the Saul? I think, but anyway, all right. So, so this is when Saul is being anointed king, and I encourage you to read that. I encourage you to read all of it really. It's all good, the entire Bible. Okay, so first I'm going to say, listen, before you start reading, pray, because we get our our insight from God. God knows how we understand things, how we comprehend things, how things register to us. And so he knows best how to help us to um, grasp the things that we're seeing here, you know? And there may be a word for that day that he's really wanting you to know, to hear, to understand. And so it's just a way of inviting God into this process and saying, God, I'm seeking you. I want to do what you want me to do. I want to see what you want me to see. I want to hear what you want me to hear. And so um, it's just a good thing to start out with, just a little prayer. Ask God to help you understand, give you wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment, strategy, practical application. Like these are the things I really ask for when I get ready to read. So, but you can ask for whatever it is that you are seeking. Okay. Um, the second thing I would tell you to do is to make sure you get some tools. So if you want to get something to write with, get you a little notepad, um, pencil, highlighters, bookmarks, because you're going to want to start, comparing things, and, you don't want to lose your place, and, just when you start getting into it. So I would encourage you to pray and to get tools. Um, I would encourage you to get a phone, um, because that is your quickest way to access different versions of the Bible, which is going to be very helpful for you. So I encourage you to do that. And the reason I encourage you to do that is because the way that it's written in certain versions is easier to understand, or helps assist you understanding what you're reading. And I will show you that as we go throughout this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very raw, unedited study, I guess. I'm going to just take a little piece of this chapter, and I'm just going to show you how I get more familiar with the word, or how I get in and study it. And listen, don't be so quick to say, I'm just trying to get through the whole Bible. I'm trying to read the whole thing. Sometimes when you read swiftly, when your goal is to swiftly read something, or to hurry up and read through all of it, sometimes you miss what it is that you're reading, and you don't get to soak it in. But I'm a visual person, I know, and I like to kind of go to the place. If I'm reading something and it's talking about a certain thing that's happening, or a certain place that they're in, I like to visualize it, and it helps me to go there. It helps me to retain that information. So the next time that it comes up, or I need to bring it up, then I can recall, oh my goodness, okay, I remember that. So don't be so caught up on trying to just speed read through the whole thing, or just quantity. Like, I gotta read a chunk of it, like 5 chapters. Like, you don't have to do that. As a matter of fact, I feel like I read pretty slowly, especially when I'm trying to study, because I am like taking in each line. So anyway, so this is just the way I do it. Again, you have your own way. I'm sorry, one more thing. This is all unorganized. Forgive me. One more thing that I thought about, some people also recommend certain areas in the Bible to start reading whenever you're beginning your study. And for me, I would say that I think that the Gospels are interesting, because it's the life of Jesus during the time that he was on the earth. And so in the Gospels are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the 4 Gospels. Now, the synoptic gospels are Matthew, Mark, and Luke. John will have a little different view. It'll be telling the same story, but it'll be a little different view. And also, sorry, I didn't say this at first, the synoptic gospels, syn, meaning same, optic, same view. So those will have the same view. Those are the synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke. They are telling the same story, and they have a similar view. All of them do. But they're told from different people, but they have a similar view. Now John is the one that has a little view that's kind of off a bit. It's the same story. It's just a sort of different account of it. All right. Sorry if that was a lot. Okay, so for example, I'm gonna start at chapter 10. 1 Samuel chapter 10. I'm reading the King James Version Bible. Okay. Said then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, Is it not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre. Okay, let's stop there. So I encourage you, if you come along something that you don't understand, I don't care if it's every other word, you don't get it. It may be because you're in a version that is a little confusion. That's why I say have a another version handy, or a phone that can show you other versions. But if you come across something that you don't understand, I encourage you to stop there and try to dig to find out what it means or what it is. So I just came across, when thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre. So there's going to be 2 men standing beside Rachel's sepulchre. First of all, I was like, what is a sepulchre? You know, I'm sitting here thinking it's something from a movie, one of them old little like Harry Potter type movies, and they have one of those things in their hand. That's not it. Never mind. Okay, so I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up. Sepulcher. It is, and this is just, I'm looking this up on my phone. Just went to I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there we go. Went to the dictionary. Okay, just Googled it basically. All right, sepulcher, a small room or monument cut in rock or built of stone in which a dead person is laid or buried. So now we know what a sepulcher is. Now we can be more engaged in the story because we are understanding what these words are meaning. So Samuel just told Saul that when he leaves, he's going to see 2 men standing beside Rachel's sepulcher. That's Rachel's tomb, basically, that it's built into rock. Okay. Now, my second question was, what Rachel were we talking about? And after going to Wikipedia, I was online doing this a while ago, so that's why I'm saying went and all of that past tense. So after going and Googling sepulcher, it had pulled up Wikipedia for me. And then I pulled up, I think I did Rachel's sepulcher. That's when it pulled up Wikipedia for me. And Rachel was in blue. And if you go to Wikipedia and something's in blue, that means you can click on it and it'll take you to another page that'll give you more information about the word that you're clicking on. So I clicked on Rachel, and it took me to, because I wanted to know what Rachel we're talking about. Who's Rachel? You know what I'm saying? Why is this significant? So Rachel was the wife of Jacob. And if you are familiar with Jacob and Esau, then look at that story, and you can go from there to figure out who she is. But anyway, it said that Rachel's sepulcher is one of the most holy places in that area, and even to this day. And so that was pretty fascinating to me. And so this is why it was okay for him to point it out as a landmark. He was trying to give direction to Saul. Rachel's sepulcher was a easy landmark because this is actually a very popular burial site. It's a very holy place for them. Now we're learning. Now we're getting to the meat of things. Look at you studying your Bible. Let's keep going. And they will say unto thee, the asses which thou went. Okay, let's stop right there. The asses. Yes, I said asses. You guys, some of you may already know this. Some of you may not. Listen, asses are donkeys. It's another word for donkeys. And there may be some other versions that will actually say donkeys instead of asses. But it's another word for donkeys. This is why it's good to have other versions on hand so we can really understand. Be like, you cussing Jesus? What is going on? So anyway, Okay, we'll keep going here because I want to wrap it up. I don't want to make the video too long. Okay, so the asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses, and sorroweth for you, saying, What shall I do for my son? Then shalt thou go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall meet thee three men going up to God, to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids. Y'all, listen. All I could think about when I first read this was like, that's a lot of children. That's a lot of how are you carrying 3 kids? Do you have super long arms, or are you just real strong like that? I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah. All right. So I was like, this is crazy, and didn't even think anything about it. Just kept on reading. I was like, that's not something I don't understand, whatever. But later on, I went back to read a different version of what I was reading, and I was reading the Amplified version. I was just casually reading just to get a more of an understanding of everything that I had just read, since I was reading the King James version. And y'all see how difficult it can be to read that version. But I don't know. I like reading that version. I feel like it's closer to the original. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about it. We ain't gonna discuss that. That's debatable. But anyway, all right. So I'm reading the Amplified version, y'all. And it says, Then you will go on further from there, and you will come to the terebinth tree of Tabor, and 3 men going up to sacrifice to God at Bethel will meet you there, one carrying 3 young goats. I forgot, y'all, that that's another word for young goats. Kids. Kids. Kids, you remember that? You remember learning that in school? Y'all, that was hilarious. Listen. Anyway, that is just a small example. Y'all, I wish I had some more time, but I don't want to really overwhelm you, and I don't want to make this video too long. But you have an example there, 2 examples at least, of how I went through some, and then each time I got to something that seemed significant but that I didn't understand, I went ahead and used other tools to try to find out what it was. I mentioned Wikipedia. I mentioned just the regular Google dictionary, and I mentioned other versions of the Bible, and all of that can be done just on your phone, really. So, you don't have to have all kind of other tangible things laying around. I really love that, having that, but if that is way too much and that's just doing too much, I get it. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it like everybody else. But what I will say is make it your own time, your personal time with God, and really get into it like you're just reading a story. Be inquisitive. Have that wonder in your eyes, like, wow, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is that? And it will help you to retain things better. And do it every day. Do it every day. Even if you have to pick up the study later on, just do it every day, a little bit every day. But this is just an example of how I do it. Don't ever let a story go on without understanding the story. It's okay if you read a little bit past it or read the whole thing and like, okay, all right. But don't let it just go and just walk away and don't understand a word that you said, a word that you read. Don't do that. Be inquisitive. Learn. God sees you desiring to learn, and he will give you those revelations. There's information, and then there's revelation. Revelation is something that comes from God. We can read information all the time. We can pick it up and just be like, okay, then Nahash at Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. I mean, you can't just read it just like you're reading the newspaper. Like, you have to, the Bible is not meant to just read, it's meant to study, because you will not understand anything that's happening. You're gonna have to dig and find out what this means, what this place, where is Jabesh Gilead, and who is Nahash, and who is, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be inquisitive. And so it takes a little bit. That's why I say take your time and dig through there and see what you can do. Okay, I made this video long enough, you guys, but I hope that helped somebody out there. Thank y'all so much for making it to the end. Thank you for watching it, even if you only watched the first little bit of it. Thank you. And if you watched the first little bit of it and stopped, then you didn't get to hear me say thank you. So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. Y'all, why the hula hoops behind me? Okay, anyway, y'all know it's real over here all the time. And you know why? You know, because it's the walk live.